I actually went to 3 different plastic surgeons, and they all told me that I needed a tummy tuck.
And how many kilos did you pick up on a pregnancy?
40 kilos. So the story started in my town that I was using steroids. My boys, when I put them to bed, they ask to see my muscles.
You talk also a lot about Ipamorelin
and CJC that are used together. The fact is you need to lift heavy weights to start building any kind of muscle. If I didn't do weight training the way I did and the amount, I wouldn't have had those results. I always felt like my life was meant for more.
Was there a certain trigger point in your life where you felt that I need to make exercise like really important in my life? Firstly, thank you very much for taking the time out to watch this video. I really hope that you do enjoy it. And the whole goal and what we want to achieve is getting to know people better through the 4 aspects of their life, through their spirituality, through their health, through their business, as well as their family. So enjoy it with us. And if you do enjoy this, can I ask you one thing, is to please subscribe and keep active and keep watching us. And let's grow this thing in South Africa together. Estelle, good to have you here.
Good to be here.
I'm glad you took the long flight all the way down to Joburg. And it's so good having you. And obviously, the reason why I've got you on here is because we've seen a lot of growth that's been happening on your Instagram, and you're getting a lot of traction.
Yes.
And I'm starting to see that a lot of people are asking you a lot of questions. And we'll get into all those questions now, especially around peptides, which is something that is just a buzzword right now. I think it's bigger than AI.
I actually think you might be right.
It's crazy how it's taking off. Just to obviously start off, you and I are both obviously not medical doctors or anything, so everybody out there listening, just take note that you need to seek medical advice in terms of this. If you ever want to take peptides, please consult with your medical doctor.
Agreed.
Good stuff. So, Estelle, let's start off with you. First of all, who are you? What do you do? Tell us a little bit about your life story.
So I am firstly a mom of 4. I've spent about 10 years of my life just having kids, breastfeeding. It was a good 10-year gap that was dedicated to that and nothing else. And as I started getting out of that motherhood only gap, I was approached by a friend to design a house for them, and I wasn't working at that stage, so I said I'll do it as a favor because I'm an architect. And
a qualified architect?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So I did a house for them as a favor, and from there I haven't stopped working. It's been 4 years. So the projects just kept coming in. I didn't advertise. It was just word of mouth. So I've been working full time, and I really love what I do. But about a year ago, bit more than a year ago, someone told me about HYROX. And it sounded like fun because I was so bored of my exercise routine, and I used to run quite often, but I didn't feel like I had a goal, or it was kind of just aimlessly exercising. And I heard about HYROX and it sounded like a good challenge, and I decided to take it on, and that was kind of where everything changed. So I started exercising really heavily daily, had a whole body transformation with the exercise. Then a few months into the exercise, I discovered peptides, and I started using peptides. And from there, I got so many compliments by women mostly, who would stop me in the shops and ask me, what do you do? What exercise do you do? Are you a coach? Do you have an exercise plan for me? And this was literally daily that 1 or 2 people would stop me. So I really wanted to help these people and give them something, because I'm a mom too. I know the struggles. But you can't explain everything I do in a conversation. There's just too much of it. So I decided I would try and start an Instagram page. But I have to say this as well. So I live in a small town, and you know how women can talk about other women. So the story started in my town that I was using steroids. And I thought to myself, okay, let me correct this. I'm going to start an Instagram and I'm just going to share everything I do so that they will stop talking and people who want advice can get advice. Yeah. And it's been really successful. It's been 3 months now. And
So you only opened your page 3 months ago? Yes. Okay. Yeah, and it's been climbing like crazy.
It has. It has. I'm very pleasantly surprised.
So have you always been into fitness from schooling days, or is it just something that...
I've always loved exercise, like any form of exercise. Even today still, if you want to take me out to do something fun, take me to rock climb or play tennis or something like that. So I've always loved sports. My kids love sports, and I encourage them a lot to take part in sports.
And how old are your kiddies now?
They are 7, 9, 11, and 13.
Okay, great. Yeah, so that is definitely a good part of your life. That
yes.
You had little ones and pregnant.
Yes.
And how was that experience for you? Did you enjoy that experience?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. My first pregnancy was kind of difficult, but after that, my body kind of just sorted itself out. And then I had 3 really easy pregnancies. And I mean, I just love newborn babies so much. I think that's why I have 4. They're so cute.
And obviously, one of your big things you always talk about is how much weight you put on with every pregnancy. Yeah?
Yes. So that was surprising to me as well, because I've always been very healthy. So obviously, my body just decided I need to hold on to extra calories. Because I have to add that I always ate very healthy, but I probably ate too few calories. Okay. So I think my body just decided, we're going to hold on to this. And very easily, I mean, the weight just went up.
And how many kilos did you pick up on a pregnancy?
40.
40 kilos.
40 kilos.
Cheapest. Yeah. And so that's a lot of kilos to pick up. And did you just lose it very quickly always? Or is it only started once you started using the peptides and those type of things?
Every time was really hard. Okay. So people tell you, just breastfeed, the weight will drop off. It doesn't drop off. The reality is that losing pregnancy weight is exactly the same as losing any other weight. I mean, it's not because it was pregnancy weight, it's going to be easier to lose it. So every time was really hard. The breastfeeding did help, but as soon as you stop, the weight loss also stops. So then you have to go into calorie deficits and exercise, and it was really hard, but I was determined, there was no other way for me than to lose it.
Yeah. And I mean, so let's just look at this. You've got 4 kids. You architect and got a day job, and then on top of that you do your fitness, right? And then we as people go we don't have time to go and exercise. So how do you put all of that and balance everything like that together? How's your day? What's your day routine?
I've definitely decided to make exercise a priority. It's not an optional for me in the day. It's schedule the exercise in first and then the rest according to that. So I wake up at 4 every morning, and that also took me a while to get used to. So I usually woke up at 6, then I started waking up at 5 for about 3 months, and then I pushed it to 4. And the beginning was hard. Your body has to get used to it. But now I wake up at 4, I do about 2 hours of work. Then I get the kids to school, and then I exercise for an hour. And from there, I'll do a bit more work until it's time for the kids to come home. And then either I'm with them or I'm doing more work. And then late afternoon, I always go for a walk or for a run. So there'll be some more exercise.
Was there a certain trigger point or emotional point in your life where you felt that I need to make exercise like really important in my life? What was that trigger?
I think, when you reach the age of 40, you start thinking about a lot of things. And the big thing for me was I always felt like my life was meant for more. I always have, and I still have, this feeling that I was meant to do something great, and I've just never found what that is. So that kind of got me thinking about my life. What am I doing? What is going to be my greatness, and am I achieving greatness in whatever it is that I'm doing? So, exercise was the first thing when I heard about HYROX. I thought, well, that's a challenge. That could be something new and exciting. And that's just kind of what motivated me.
Was HYROX always like, was it a friend of yours that said it? So did you guys go and do it together as a team or?
She showed it to me, and then we decided to do it together. But just before the race, she got very sick. So I had to find a substitute. And then I carried on doing HYROX, and she kind of stopped. But I've been nagging her to come back because I know she will love it. She has that mentality. So I nagged her, and she did the last HYROX with me in Cape Town.
Okay,
And
awesome.
we smashed it. So
Yeah.
now she's fully in again.
And how are you competing in the HYROX side? Are you obviously in the top tier of competitors?
We actually did really well in the previous HYROX, the doubles. So we got 113, which
Is that good?
that's
Okay,
considered
good.
good. And this was her first HYROX, so that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes. And are you coming to do the ones? Do you do just the ones down in Cape Town? Or do you do the ones in
I
Joburg
do
now?
Joburg as well, but I've been struggling with an injury, so
Okay,
I had to skip this one.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
very sad.
Ah, man. So let's talk a little bit about fitness, right? There's always the question, cardio or weights, right? So what is your thinking around? Because a lot of ladies that I've spoken to are very scared to do weight. It's a misconception. Very scared to do weights because they say, I don't want to look like a man. I don't want to have all these massive arms and things.
Yeah.
But I think it's quite a bit of a misconception from what I understand.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. The fact is you need to lift heavy weights to start building any kind of muscle. So if you're just lifting heavy weights, if they're saying they don't want to build, you're never going to build muscle. So you're just going to basically stay the way you are. So heavy weights, definitely my number one exercise. It should be the basis of everyone's workouts. Cardio is really good for your cardiovascular health, for fitness. There's many benefits to cardio. But what cardio is never going to do is it's never going to make you skinny. It's never going to make you look in shape. Like that's weights, only weights.
So it doesn't matter how much you really go and run and that. It's more about getting into shape. And now I've kind of seen that. I get what you're saying because I was never a weight person at all. Right? I don't think I've ever been to gym, and only like the last 4 months probably have I started going to a personal trainer now. But all of a sudden I'm getting like a shape. I've got like a
Exactly.
shoulders. I've got a bit of a chest going. I don't have man boobs going. It's just all a bit tighter,
Yeah.
and it feels like, but the scale's not showing it.
But you need to get a biometric scale
Yeah,
because obviously you're losing fat and you're gaining muscle,
yeah,
but you're going to get so frustrated because nothing's moving.
yeah. And
So,
I think that's a problem that a lot of people, they jump off the weights eventually because they're like, I'm not losing weight actually,
yeah,
and you don't really see the results immediately.
you don't. And in fact, you actually start looking bigger first because your muscles are growing.
Okay.
So that happened to me. I started building muscle, and But 2 months into it, I told my daughter, I said, I'm going to stop because I'm actually not losing anything. I look bigger, my clothes are tighter.
Yeah.
And then she said, no, Mama, I can see there's a change. So then I said, okay, now we just believe in it and we stick to it. And it worked.
How many times a week do you do weight training?
At least 6 days.
6 days. Okay. And cardio?
Cardio, I walk every day. So I will aim to do a run at least 3 times a week.
And do you eat before you exercise?
Yes, very important. I eat before I do weights and before I do cardio. And I would recommend that everyone eats before they exercise. If your goal is losing weight, then go for walks and do that fasted. Like, that's fine. But as soon as you start doing other workouts that raise your heart rate, I mean, once you go above the fat burning zone, you're just burning muscle. And that defeats the purpose of any weight training.
So would you say walking is like probably a very important part of losing weight?
Yes.
More than running?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. If you want to keep the weight off, just walk.
And how long do you walk for approximately?
We have a nice loop of like 1 kilometer in our estate. So sometimes I'll go and I'll just do a quick 1 kilometer or go for 2. Or if I have some admin, I'll walk and do my admin. Yeah. But daily, probably about 3 to 4 kilometers.
And what do you eat before you exercise? Obviously, it's not bacon and eggs and a croissant.
No, no. So that's mostly oats and protein powder. That's my go-to. Okay. And if I forgot to eat, I'll just do energy gels.
Okay. So before eating, it's mainly like oats, I guess, because that just gives you quite a bit of energy, right? Yeah. Supplements. Let's move on to supplements. So what type of supplements are you taking in the mornings?
Daily creatine, BCAAs, electrolytes, and protein powder. Okay. So that I have every day. And at night I take probiotics and a multivitamin, calcium, magnesium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your main stuff that your go-tos? It's very interesting because we're chatting with the doctor, and his number one thing that he said, we asked him what supplements and he said creatine. And it's a big thing. I also see on a lot of podcasts and things that creatine's actually quite a big thing right now.
It's incredible, and for your mental health, it's been like a game changer for me. I have this mental clarity that I've never had, and that's been since creatine. And I take a high dose. I take 20 grams a day.
Okay.
Yeah. So they say you have to take 20 upwards to get the mental health benefit.
And does creatine not put on a lot of weight?
No. It can, in the beginning, it can make you hold back water. Yeah. But that evens out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are the benefits of creatine?
Oh, so many. It increases your collagen production, mental health benefits. I mean, there's so many.
No, because I've just heard from a lot of people as well. So I took creatine when I was a lot younger, but I didn't exercise, and I just put on a lot of weight. And it felt like I was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But obviously, you've got to work it out, I guess.
I mean, I don't think creatine is just it's not going to make you gain weight. Okay. Water weight, yes, but it's not going to make you fat.
Maybe that's just a misconception a lot of people have got in regards to creatine. Yeah, I think so,
because there's definitely some water weight in the beginning. And most people use it when they're starting to build, they're starting to work out. So that coincides with your muscles bulking up a little bit. So it makes you feel like you're quite big, but then you need to start losing the fat to lean you up a bit. So there's a period where you're building muscle and you still haven't lost the fat,
Yes.
where you're kind of at your biggest, and
Yeah.
then you go down again. So
Okay,
that's
so
probably what they're feeling.
yeah, I think that is pretty much where a lot of, that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of people drop out of exercise and training because there's that initial period that you go through, and it feels like you're putting in all this effort and it's not working. In actual fact, feels like it's doing the absolute opposite of what you're trying to achieve.
100%, 100%. I mean, I would have quit if I didn't have HYROX that I had to train
Yeah.
for.
No, it's interesting. Well, that's a great thing that people must obviously get to realize. Even me myself, I'm one to talk. So anyway.
Yeah, if people can literally just get past that hurdle, just believe in the process.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be life changing, but that's the hardest thing to overcome.
And you train, is it 2 hours a day?
Like 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we literally got to take 1.5 hours a day out of our lives and do the training. And how important is eating with that?
Very important. I mean, while you're building muscle, you can't be in a deficit. You have to be in a surplus. Eating before exercise, because your body needs that, glycogen to build muscle. Otherwise, you're just not going to build muscle.
Let's talk a little bit about your favorite subject.
Peptides. Yeah.
And when was the first time that you heard about peptides and started doing some research on peptides? And yeah, what's your journey been on the peptides, and how did you get into this?
I have a friend who's a doctor. Like, we talk about a lot of things, and whenever she discovers something new, she would share it with me. And she started with NAD, like way before anyone, talked about peptides. And this was interesting to me because it was something you injected. Like, up until now, I've just done oral things. So immediately it caught my interest, and I said, okay, I want to try it. So I started on NAD and felt great, but then I got curious about what else there is. So I saw actually an Instagram post on someone talking about GHK. So I asked the person where I got the peptides from if they could get GHK. And then this was before everyone knew about peptides. I mean, he asked me what is GHK.
Yeah.
So eventually found it. And a few weeks after I started with that, I started hearing about GHK more. And then everything kind of just exploded. So from there, my curiosity was sparked already. And I'm the kind of person who, when I get interested in something, I would deep dive for information like no one. So I started reading up about all the lesser known peptides. And I got really curious about that and how they work, and specifically what role each one plays.
So was your first one NAD that you started on?
Yeah.
So what is NAD?
NAD is a peptide that optimizes your energy. So I would say this is a mitochondrial peptide. And you have to understand the specific role that NAD has compared to other energy peptides. So I can give you NAD and tell you it's going to give you energy, and it might do nothing for you. Or you might feel it immediately and it's great. And this is also one of the problems with peptides. People just jump onto anything without knowing what they need. So going back to NAD, there are 5 energy peptides that I love. So those are NAD, 5-amino-1Q, MOTS-C, SS31, and ACAR.
Okay.
So I'm going to explain it to you easily.
Yeah.
So if you had to think of a car, how a car works, NAD would be the fuel that you put into the car.
Okay.
But if you put fuel into a broken car, it's not going to do anything. That's what I'm saying. For some people, the other systems in the body aren't functioning properly. So the NAD's not going to do anything.
Okay.
So 5-amino is what determines how fuel efficient the car is. MOTC is like the power chip that you put in. SS31 is like your warranty plan, your service plan,
Okay.
like repairs and protects.
Yeah.
And then iCar is like a sports button where you need extra energy immediately.
Okay.
So now people need to understand what each one of these do and which one their body needs. So you might need MOTS and NAD together for a certain amount of time to fix a system. But meanwhile, your friend is saying, no, go on to NAD and 5-amino, and you just jump onto it because your friend is on it. So people need to really understand what that peptide is going to do specifically, which one they need, which combination of peptides they need. And that's probably one of the bigger dangers of peptides at the moment, is that there's no one really in the industry to point us. There's no medical professional that can point us into that direction. I mean, they can do your blood tests, but they're not going to sit there and discuss, you need this peptide, this one, because they're not legally allowed to.
Okay.
So,
And is there certain peptides now that you are allowed to be using, that doctors can prescribe and that out already, right?
I mean, those are the basic ones, GLPs.
Okay.
That they are allowed to prescribe. And then I don't know if you know this, but insulin is a peptide. Insulin, and then there are some other hormonal peptides that have also been approved. Okay. Like there's one for libido that actually got approval. Glutathione is a peptide. So any of those the doctor can recommend, but the big buzz is about the other peptides, and those are not FDA approved yet.
Okay, and they obviously unregulated, right? So now everybody's jumping on this bandwagon and bringing stuff in from goodness knows where.
That is the big problem, yeah.
And is there a certain type of peptide that is kind of regulated, or that's by the board, or at this stage?
No,
okay.
Actually none of them.
Okay.
So the biggest thing you should do is to try and find a reputable supplier. Yeah. And that's very hard to do. That's actually the question I get asked the most is, where do we find good suppliers?
And your doctors will probably be able to inform you in regards to this, right?
No. Well, GLPs, yes, but not the unregulated ones. No, they could be held liability, if they have liability issues. They could lose their medical license if they refer you to something that's not approved.
Yeah, but I mean, peptides are just a massive buzz right now. Everybody's talking about peptides. Everybody's jumping on board with peptides. And obviously, people have gotten results out of a lot of these peptides, right? So, I mean, you yourself have tested and tried out and been working on these peptides. But I think one of the biggest things, and this is where I'm going to pick your brain now, is to understand peptides. Because in terms of the peptides, how do you know which peptide, like you just said now, energy ones, and there was like 5 energy ones. Now you've got a whole bunch of other ones that a person can take. For instance, you've got some for skin, some for hair regrowth, you've got longevity, you've got ones for muscle repair, muscle tissue. So where do people, how did you start, and how did you start understanding peptides, first of all, how it works, and then how did you start knowing the effects of the peptide? Did you feel it immediately, or was it a long process and time?
So first of all, I understood the process that the peptides take. So I understood that some of them would take longer to show results, and others I was either going to feel something immediately or not at all. So I started looking at peptides for sports performance because I wanted to run faster. I wanted to, mainly run faster, get fit, more fit. So I started looking into those peptides, and that's where I found iCar. I used that, and it worked brilliantly.
Okay.
But it is banned. So if you're a professional sports person, you can't use it.
Okay.
But it's great.
And it's not a steroid, huh?
No,
It's
no,
a
no, no.
peptide,
It's a
so
peptide.
yeah, it's just really enhancing what your body already has. Is that what a peptide is?
Yeah. So the iCar kind of tricks your body into thinking that it has low energy. So it produces more AMPK, more energy.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can run for longer, and
Yes.
it's really cool.
So is that one of the first ones? You started NAD, and then obviously now you started trying out a few others.
Yes,
Right?
yeah.
And you talk also a lot about Ipamorelin.
Ipamorelin
Yeah.
and CJC that are used together.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I would recommend to anyone. It stimulates growth hormone release, which, if you think about it, involves every part of your body, your skin quality, your hair quality, the amount of muscle you have. It's a fat burner. The elasticity of your skin improves. I mean, I'm living proof of what it's done to my skin. I tell people that I actually went to 3 different plastic surgeons, and they all told me that I needed a tummy tuck after 4 kids. I just refused because I hate the belly button. Like, I haven't seen one that I like yet. And I thought, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to see what I can do on my own. And then if I still need one, then I'll just suck it up. And I actually almost forgot about that, just started exercising. And a few months later, I happened to be at one of the plastic surgeons again. And I showed him my tummy thinking, I'm still going to need a tummy tuck. And he looked at me and he said, I won't be able to do a tummy tuck on that. There's not enough skin.
Is this after using Ipamorelin?
Yeah, and CJC. But I have to say, if I didn't do weight training the way I did and the amount, I wouldn't have had those results.
Okay.
So you can't just jump on a peptide and think it's going to change your life.
Yes.
You need to put the work in.
I've got a lot of ADHD, so my
Me
capacity to be able to concentrate is really not good. But I also, if you're taking 2 or 3 of these, how do you know which ones are the ones that are actually working for that specific?
I would always recommend that when you start a new peptide, start with one at a time so that you can feel what it does. You can, recognize if it's doing something or not. Because it's like you say, if you start with 2 at a time, you're not going to know which one is doing what.
Okay. So NAD, for instance, and then obviously dosages and that type of stuff, a person needs to be careful because you got your minimum dose, I see, and then you kind of have got a maximum type of dose. So you got to kind of lean into it slowly, right?
Yeah, and I think if you're looking for recommendations on dosages, go to at least 3 different websites, look at dosages from 3 different perspectives, and then kind of draw the average from there, because everyone says something different.
Okay, I guess it's because it's not like
there is no recommended dosage.
But it definitely seems that there's a lot of more research going into it right now, and a lot more consensus from GPs and doctors and people saying, listen, this is actually something that could be a life changer for people.
Yeah, a lot of doctors are praising GLPs now, where previously they were against it completely. I mean, there's research that shows after 3 weeks on a GLP, your risk of cardiovascular disease drops by 30%.
Jeepers.
Like, it's incredible. And fatty liver disease, like, it helps so much with that, huge improvements. So
is GLPs like your Ozempics and that type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How does one break it down? If you're looking at peptide, how do you break it down? Do you, because there's so much and it's very confusing and it's very, like, for the normal person out there, how does one break this
I
down?
think everyone starts by kind of dipping their toes into it. So normally you would start with a NAD or BPC TB. A lot of people start with that.
So what is, for instance, so NAD we've explained gives you energy, right? It's supposed to give you energy in that. And then
BPC 500, BPC and TB-500. So when you use them, it helps you recover from injuries faster. So it helps actually with that physical injury to heal.
Okay.
And I am, of course, on that whenever I have injuries, and it works well. But again, it's not gonna, you're not gonna inject it and tomorrow you're healed.
Yes.
Like, it probably adds an extra 10, maybe 15% improvement to your injury. But it's not gonna completely just suddenly
Just
fix
go away,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got peptides, for instance, for energy, and you've got peptides now for injuries. You've got peptides for weight loss, I guess. Some
Weight
people using the
loss.
weight loss.
For mental clarity.
Okay.
There's a really good combination, Selank and Semax,
Okay.
and especially for ADHDers.
Yeah.
So I'm on that daily, and it makes a huge difference.
Okay.
And then the Semax is kind of a bit of a, I find it to be a mood lifter, and I have really bad anxiety. So when I take Semax, I clearly feel how I just feel a bit more in control. Like, I'm able to do the stuff that I normally kind of push away. And one of the benefits attached to Semax is that it reverses anhedonia, not just suppresses, reverses. And anhedonia is when you've lost joy for life.
Okay.
So I think the future of depression treatment looks really good if we can reverse certain conditions with peptides.
I've heard people also talking now about saying that peptides should be used in a glass
Powder.
or powder, because as soon as it's in a syringe already, then it kind of loses its effect, or a lot of the
Yes.
effect.
Yes. So as soon as you mix it with a liquid, it has to stay refrigerated.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why I don't use peptide pens at all, because you don't know where they stored the peptide pens. You don't know where they ordered it from. You know, was it sent in a cold package, or was it exposed to higher temperatures? And then when they have to ship it to you, again, it's not, you know, they don't send it in a cold pack.
Yes.
So I'm completely against any kind of peptide pen.
Okay. So do you just chuck your own at Ceylon, right, or something? What do you put it?
Bacteriostatic water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you just chuck that, and then it's a brand new one every time that a
Yeah,
person
so
uses.
you get it's in a powder form,
Okay.
and you just inject the water. They supply the water as well.
Yeah.
And you inject the water against the side of the vial, because the amino acids are very fragile.
Okay.
So don't spray it into the powder.
Okay.
And then just wait for it to dissolve, and then you put it in the freezer, in the fridge from there on.
Okay. Okay. And then you just use a syringe, I guess, every time.
Yes.
So you're obviously not scared of syringes, right?
No.
You're very used to it. How many injections do you take a day on average?
I draw up in one needle.
Yeah.
So most of the days it's between 1 and 2 in the morning, and at night just 1.
Okay. And do you draw up all of them just simultaneously?
In the same
needle?
Yeah. So I've heard that people have done studies where they've, combined for a short period, and it's absolutely fine.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's interesting. I've also heard that there's some promising research on cancer therapy that's coming through. I don't know if you've heard about any of this.
There is. There are specific peptides that they're claiming kills cancer cells, is specifically targeted at that. And then there's another one specifically for hormonal cancers. But I'm like skeptical to, honestly, if that treatment actually exists, wouldn't that have been used? I can't imagine that kind of technology would be suppressed on purpose. So while there are peptides that claim that, there definitely needs to be, more research or people that have been on it,
How many types of peptides are there? Do you know?
Oh, endless.
Oh, is it? So,
Yeah, there's so many.
And maybe for the people listening that don't have a clue what a peptide is, what does a peptide actually do?
So it is short chain amino acids.
Yeah.
Normally between 2 amino acids that are bonded, or up to, I think, about 50 different amino acids bonded in a certain sequence. And that functions as a set of instructions in your body. So unlike normal medications that you take a blood pressure pill, but it has the side effects of this and this and this on other parts of your body, a peptide is specifically targeted at doing one thing and one thing only. It's not going to interfere with anything else.
Okay, so so that peptide, so whatever you inject in, that will specifically just go in straightforward target that specific area.
And it's either going to do the function or it's going to misfire.
Okay. It's like that car story you were talking
Yes.
about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there people getting peptides wrong?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've spoken to a couple of GPs about this, and they do see people coming in with like severe kidney failure, and then they tell the doctors, they've been on this and this and this peptide and just been completely overdoing it. So I don't know which peptides specifically would do something like that. But I think because the set of instructions is so specific, if you have an underlying condition that kind of interferes that, or that's not what your body needs, I mean, I can see there being like something going wrong. So if you have underlying conditions, like definitely speak to a medical professional and
get tests done and make sure
and understand how that peptide actually works, what the biological role is, and understand your disease and how those two could possibly affect each other.
I think that's very important, that people must obviously understand. You can't just jump onto it, and then there is underlying factors that are occurring.
Yeah.
And,
it's so important that GPs start getting involved, but I mean, that's going to take time.
I think it's definitely going to come, because I mean, there's a lot of people and research going on about it right now.
Definitely.
Obviously still young.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I talk about peptides a lot. I mean, I don't claim to be a professional or anything, but I think the more exposure there is, the more people keep talking about it, the more likely it is that something will happen with it.
Why do you think they aren't approved yet?
It's a process.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but the process has started.
Okay.
So I think it's a matter of time.
What are the questions? You've started your Instagram now, and your Instagram's blowing up, and there's a lot of people talking about what you're doing, and you're showing exactly everybody, I mean, how you've come from having 4 children and losing all the weight and getting into the shape that you get in. Obviously, this is not just peptides. This is a lot of effort, a lot of work. You're putting a lot of training in. It's not just come naturally.
Not just peptides.
Obviously, the peptides have assisted in that, I guess. And you've used them for specific target areas and things that you needed to get it done. But what are the most popular questions that fill your inbox?
It's usually right after I make a post about a specific peptide. So I like to post and just mention my personal experience, what I felt, what I saw over a period of time. A lot of the times when I post about a specific peptide, people would start emailing or messaging, asking where can I get this peptide? Because a lot of times I haven't even heard of it yet.
Yeah, those peptides you were telling her I've never even heard of.
Yeah, so two of the peptides that are really popular, the one is Stressin B, which is something that helps your hair grow, only your head hair. And it also prevents you from growing grey. So I've been on it for about 9 months, and I can definitely see, like, I have so many baby hairs coming out. So people are very interested in that one. And then also the libido stack.
Okay.
Because I've been on it, and personally it's been life-changing. Like, it's the first thing that I can actually say it works 100%.
That's where it needs to be obviously spoken about, right? Because I think that's why it's such a hot topic, because people don't really know, what you get all these funny words like BP-7759 and then 306 and all these names that are so funny, but you don't actually really know what it's targeting and what it's doing.
You don't, yeah. And that's the gray area, because who's going to educate you on it?
Yeah.
It's people like me that I don't really feel I have the authority to educate people, but at the same time, I know they're interested, and I know these things. So
yeah, and you've been researching and been doing it and using it, and you've seen what it's done for you. Right? Is there anything you take for longevity?
For longevity, that would mostly be my GHK for my skin quality. I'm not specifically using a peptide for longevity. I am taking a tablet though, Rapamycin, which it is FDA approved, but it's FDA approved for people who's had organ transplants.
Okay.
So now there's new studies where they found that if you take it in lower dosages, it actually tricks your body into thinking you're fasting. So it clears out all the diseased and dead cells. So if you take that once a week, there's huge improvements in longevity and overall health and well-being.
Oh, that's interesting. But I mean, it's also one of those things. There's so much actually out there that a person really doesn't know what is right and wrong. Right?
And once you get involved, it's like this whole world that opens up, because you can literally say, I want something that's going to give me stronger bones. There's a peptide for that. Anything that you can think of, there's a peptide for it.
Yeah. Obviously, with control, right, I guess, and getting advice first before doing anything like that.
Yeah, and do your research.
Yeah. So how do you tell if a peptide's good or bad?
How I tell is there's certain peptides that kick in very quickly, like within 45 minutes, you're supposed to feel something. And those are typically the two that I use to test is Selank and Semax. So I tell people order those two from them and then test them and see if you actually feel something within 40 minutes. It should be subtle, but there's a definite relaxation. And if you don't feel anything, and if you suspect that it was imported, don't buy it. Definitely not.
Okay. Yeah, because I guess there's a lot on the grey market now, and everybody's jumping on this bandwagon, right?
Yeah, and even though the powder is able to withstand room temperature, it can only withstand so much. So in the first place, the stuff coming from China is crap. It's not really peptides. And in the second place, if you're going to put those powders into shipping containers, and it's exposed to heat, by the time that reaches you, if it was a good peptide, now it's completely damaged.
Yeah.
So just no imported peptides.
You've got your normal supplements and everything that you're taking as well, right? Does those supplements get affected through peptides, or is peptides like just you can't have like this where you're wasting your time on taking a certain supplement and you take a peptide, or they're controversial to each other?
I think you can't really compare the two. So the peptides are a set of instructions for a body part, but your body part still needs that vitamin A and vitamin C.
Yeah.
So the two work together. Yeah. You still need those nutrients. And the same with food. You can't take peptides and, just think everything's going to magically happen. If you want to build muscle, you need to eat the protein. Your body needs the protein. So the peptides are just instructions. Okay. They're not going to magically make all your minerals and vitamins.
And where do you see this journey going?
Honestly, I have no idea. I'm a little bit surprised each week by something that happens, which I find really fun and exciting. But definitely I plan on keeping on working. Yeah. Because I love what I do. I still feel like something big might happen. I just feel like I was meant for something big. So I have no idea at this point, but I'm curious to find out.
The journey's just getting started for you, I think. Yeah. So it's very exciting. Great, Estelle. So thanks, man. So we're wrapping up, and it was really an interesting conversation, and it flew by. What is your top 3 peptides that you would say is your top 3?
So there's 3 that I use every day. It's Ipamorelin CJC and GHK. Okay. So those are my bases. And then as I need energy support, libido support, mental health support, I add on temporarily those stacks.
And do you add those on just for the day, or some of them over
normally
longer term?
For a period of time until I feel like the issue is kind of resolved.
Okay, then some quick questions. What is the most underrated health habit?
Walking. I would say walking.
Walking?
Yeah.
Biggest fat loss mistake?
Not being consistent.
Best exercise for almost everyone?
I'm torn between, I want to say walking is great, but definitely weight training.
I also think so. For older people as well, I think the older you get, the more weight training you actually got to be doing, I guess.
Yeah. My goal is to be mobile by the age of 90. I want to still be living on my own. I want to be able to do everything myself. Yeah. And you can only do that with weight training.
Most important supplement?
Creatine. Yeah.
What changed your life most?
My exercise and the routine and the structure that it built, because it didn't stay there. It spilled into my life as well. I've always been very impatient. So exercise has taught me patience, not just in my workouts, but in life as well. It's very funny how that played out, but it did.
Interesting. And then what gives you energy today?
Anything that I'm passionate about. Like, I get very excited about things. And anything that keeps me active and that I feel passionate about. Yeah. Okay. And obviously everything I do as a role model for my kids.
Yes.
So I live by example. I want to show them like what you're capable of doing. And
are your kids quite active and involved as well?
They are.
Doing some push-ups with you and
yeah, the little one does burpees like a pro. It's so cute.
It's so cute.
I can definitely tell that they're picking up on my habits. Like my daughter, she eats like me, exactly like me. So she copies the vegetables that I eat. She's so healthy. And I never taught her Now, I never said you can't eat that. It's just example. My boys, it's kind of embarrassing, but it's funny. So at night when I put them to bed, they ask to see my muscles. Like, Mama, you're so strong. I feel like you should be saying it to your dad, but
Shit, man.
so they want to look like that. They want to exercise. So
no, yes. Lastly, what is your message to women over 40?
that you can do it. There's nothing like being too old. If you're just consistent, stick to it. You can definitely do it. It's possible.
Good. Estelle, that was brilliant. Thank you very much for your time. It was really great having you on here. And thank you.
Pleasure. It's good being here.
Thanks.